Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about a different kind of comparatives which where we use the word as a couple of times. And this is kind of interesting because in Spanish these two words as at the beginning of the sentence and the as after the other words have a different meaning. But in English we use the same word, so this can be a little bit tricky or confusing if we're thinking too much in Spanish. Okay, but we're gonna check some examples to make it a little bit more clear. So we use as plus an adjective or an adverb, and then we add another as to make comparisons with when things are equal. So previously we talked about the comparatives where one is better than the other or higher or taller, and then we have the superlatives when we have some specific subject which is like the main or the most powerful, we can say, or the most beautiful or anything we want, which is at the top of our scale. But this time we're talking about some instances where things are kind of equal. So we're saying they are the same, they have the same characteristic in the same degree. Okay, so it's easier when we check these examples. The world's biggest bull is as big as a small elephant. So we have a small elephant. We can picture the size of a small elephant, and then we think about the biggest bull and realize they are the same size. Okay, it's like saying the same size, but it's saying as big as. Okay, in Spanish we will say tan grande como, tan como. Okay, in Spanish these have two different meanings, but in English they are used in a combination to make a comparison. So we only have to replace the adjective in here to give the meaning that they have the same amount or the same degree of that characteristic. Then we have the weather this summer is as bad as last year. Okay, last year was bad, and the weather this summer is also equally bad. Okay, it hasn't stopped raining for weeks. You have to unwrap it as carefully as you can. It's quite fragile. Okay, so it's saying like as carefully as you can, like the most carefully you can do it, the best. Okay. Let's see more examples. Uh, However, sometimes we can use the negative to say that things are not equal. Maybe we use this when people believe that some things are equal or have the same degree of in a certain scale, but we think differently, or we are proving them that is not the case. So we have this example. It's not as heavy as I thought it would be, actually. So I had this expectation about how heavy I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't the case. Okay, so it's not as heavy. It was less heavy. We understand it that way, right? It's not, if we say it's not as heavy, then it was less heavy. Rory hasn't grown as tall as Tommy yet. So Tommy has this height and Rory is shorter. So we cannot say they are the same. He's just not as tall as Tommy yet. She's not singing as loudly as she can. Okay, she has this degree of how loud she can sing, but she's not using her full volume or potential. So she's not singing as loudly as she can. They didn't play as well as they usually do. So they play very well, but for this game something happened. Maybe they didn't feel well. Whatever it was, they didn't play as well as they used to. Okay. We can also add another adverb in the middle, which is quite, not quite as, to say that is in the same way is not the same. The second rate was not quite as easy as the first one. So this is just giving a little bit more emphasis. It's emphasizing that we cannot really make this comparison. Okay, it's like if we just say the second race was not as easy as the first one, it sounds a little bit more robotic, but this is not quite as easy. It's like you would expect otherwise, but it wasn't the case. These new shoes are not nearly as comfortable as my old ones. Okay, they are not nearly like, the difference is higher than you would suppose in how comfortable they are. Okay, um, the cycling was good, but not so hard as the cross country skiing we did. So if you notice, we could say it was easier, but sometimes we really go and take the long way and say the cycling was good, but not so hard as the cross country skiing. Okay, so in real life it happens that we may choose to say things in the longest possible way, but it's also correct. Okay, finally we have as blah 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 as plus a possibility. Okay, can you come as soon as possible? This phrase as soon as possible is very used in English, like tan pronto como sea posible. It's a comparison. It's like um, we're taking the fastest you can do it, the soonest you can do it, and can you make it that way now? Okay, go to as many places as you can. So we have this idea of how many places we can go, and we're going to try to do that. We got here as fast as we could. Same here. We have this speed limit, or um, the velocity we can have, and we tried to go for it. So I hope it was helpful for you guys, and thank you.